Father, forgive me. I am a worm. I have something to say. It's better to burn out than to fade away.
Hello and welcome to Old Finish Shite. This week's show we're going to be discussing the amazing sword fighting and sorcery. Yeah, there is sorcery in it. Movie Highlander, starring Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery and Clancy Brown, among many people in it. Because it's a movie, so there are people in it. The weird guy from The Crow who's like the pawn shop owner, he's in it as a cop. That's a weird one for you. Yeah, so there we go. So anyway, Highlander, for people who aren't familiar with it, it's a movie about a bunch of immortals that they have to cut the heads off each other to get the powers from them, and then they meet at a gathering in New York, which is where the film takes place, to decide who is going to be the only one, and the one that's like, there can be only one. There can be only one, yes. And the winner will get a prize after they decapitate all the other people who they made friends with over the millennia in a brutal battle to the death. So yeah, I suppose kicking off with it, we're after doing like, why are we talking about this film and why are we talking about it now? What is it in the zeitgeist? Because as anyone could see by the different movies that we've talked about over the show, we're quite obviously part of the zeitgeist. We're just down with the kids with such films
got our
like
finger
Maximum
on the pulse.
Overdrive.
Yeah.
And although I think Maximum Overdrive has been remade, bizarrely enough.
Is it?
Yeah.
About fucking time.
Yeah, but speaking of that, Highlander, it's been for years they've been talking about remaking it. There's fucking, I think it came close a few times. I remember seeing some well, it would have been concept art a few years ago where it was like they weren't actually going to have swords, they were going to use guns, and it was like Conor
How would you
McLeod.
shoot the head off someone?
I don't know.
Do you just fucking machine gun the neck off him?
It seems to be one of these franchises. Like, you look at part two is awful. Like, the first one, what makes the first one so great, well, for me anyway, is that it's essentially a story. It's Assassin's Creed, where it like jumps in and out, or fucking Quantum Leap, where it's like following Conor McLeod's life, immortal life,
Throughout
jumping
the
in and
centuries.
out.
Yeah.
So of course within the film you only get to see like brief glimpses of it, but it gives enough where you kind of go, oh god, I wonder what else he was up to. But then in part two they were like, oh, they're aliens, and it's just like, what?
Yeah, no, don't ruin it. Why would you ruin it?
Part three I think is alright, and then there was one I think where it was a crossover between the TV show, which was okay as well, and there's an anime which was actually quite good. But it's just all over the place, really. And I think there was a children's cartoon as well.
Was there?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure. I think they had like, it was nearly like lightsabers they had instead of swords.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think it was cool, because I can't picture them showing beheadings on a Saturday morning cartoon.
You never know.
Well, even the Conan the Barbarian cartoon, I bet you've never seen that.
No, I have not.
It was like, the story behind that was like Conan was going off looking for, I think it might have been the bad guy from like the first Conan film, whatever his name was.
Jeez, you're a font of knowledge there.
I know,
You're
yeah.
like, I don't know, I think it was kind of this, but I'm not really sure.
It was his parents got turned to stone, so he was like, oh, I gotta go off and get
Find Medusa.
your man, yeah, and turn him back. And that was pretty much it. But yeah, we're talking about it because there's a new film coming out next year starring Henry Cavill and directed by the guy that did John Wick.
Which that parent should be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I would hope.
Even the first couple of screenshots that they've shown of Henry Cavill, it looks like it could be going fairly true to the thing. I would imagine it's going to be good. I can't picture how bad it can.
Will they be using the Queen soundtrack? Because that's the be all and end all.
Henry
of it.
Cavill seems to have his head screwed on with stuff. He fucked off out of the Witcher series. Well, apparently he was a nightmare on the Witcher season 2 because he was like constantly like a fanboy going, "You're going too far away
This is not what it says in the book."
material," which he was right.
Yeah.
Like, for a season, people were giving out going, "Oh my god, she's black," and you know there was this kind of stuff in it where it was like, I was like, I couldn't give a shit about like any of that stuff, obviously, but there were like major kind of story beats where it was kind of like, why you're after making it worse. Season 2, it was just so awful. Didn't even look at season 3, and season 4 then I don't think anyone looked at it.
No, I think the best thing to come out of that was just the fuck meme.
Yeah, but like they just went too far away from what The Witcher was. Like too far away. But Henry Cavill had his head screwed on enough to realise that was coming.
Yeah.
And say no one is going to like this. And he was right.
Yeah.
So I think he's someone who will quite obviously stand up for a franchise and stand up for what he, and as well he's doing the whole Warhammer thing. He's like showrunner and well the whole kind of run around that thing, whatever's going to happen there.
So he seems to be Mr. King of the Nerds.
Yeah, so I'm very hopeful for the remake with it. So yeah, I thought it was time to go back.
Have a look at the original. That spawned it all.
Look at it, yeah. And look, I'm not going to lie. I went on ChatGPT a while ago and asked for kind of like, hey, look, could you give us a list of things? And it made me realise that I'm not really going to follow. We're not ones for following this. We did it in the last episode, actually.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I was following. Like, I mean, it's all right for giving kind of like if you're losing your way, kind of go, oh yeah, I should be talking about the plot. Oh yeah, I'm talking about movies here. But it made me realise that there's probably a lot of podcasts out there doing the same thing, because a lot of it is it seems to be obsessed with the box office. So I think it's just scouring or not IMDb, fucking Wikipedia, because that's always a big thing on the box. And I was just thinking, do people actually care about the box office? I couldn't give a flying fuck about the box office.
Well, I think I said this to you before. I'm interested in so far as did it wash its face, did it make its money back at the box office? Like that would give you a bit of a hint as to like, was it an abject failure and was everybody involved? Did they spend like 100 million and make like two back at the box office?
That can be an interesting thing, but like, I mean, you don't need to know the exact figures.
No, exactly.
With it. So like, I'm not going to be doing figures on things, because I do think
because you can't count.
Yeah,
really.
But it's like, I think just because
what's the equivalent of illiterate? Enumerate?
I don't know. Yes, we'll say yeah. But my attitude is you can't really put a monetary figure on art.
Well, you can, and they do.
Well, they can and they do, yeah. But it doesn't, just because something like fucking, like Scary Movie made hundreds of millions at the box office, which you probably contributed to.
It is, yes.
But that doesn't mean that it's... You know, there's lots of films, like Blade Runner did terribly. A lot of movies do terribly. There's a lot of great films out there that are straight to video.
Acclaimed, absolutely, yes, I know.
There's probably a lot of great films floating around on YouTube that people are after making in their back gardens that we'll never see.
Back garden specifically?
Yeah. Where else would you make a film?
I don't know. Maybe in a warehouse, in your house.
In
a room.
Gritty New York.
In a school after a closing down time.
War. Kind of thing. But anyway, look, before we get started into it, what's your opinion of Highlander? Just the first movie, not the whole
franchise and the whole everything and all the rest. It's a cool story, in fairness, because it's sort of, I suppose, again, it's like vampires, except they're not interested in other humans. They're interested in like other vampires, and basically they're doing a battle to the death kind of a thing. So these immortals walking amongst us. I suppose it's a cross between vampires and gods. They're just like, they're kind of strolling amongst humans, unbeknownst to humans, and sort of they're just observing humans from a distance and having these battles that we know nothing about.
And they don't really have any special powers. Other than that, they're immortal, you know. It's not like they can fly or they got super strength.
But the thing is, I suppose if you're immortal, like, I mean, that leads you to be able to amass a huge amount of wealth. I think they touch on that a little bit.
Some of them.
Yeah.
If we were immortal, we'd still be broke. Because we'd be like, oh, well, we got like all this gold out of a pyramid. Let's fucking spend it on fucking shit.
Yes, I know. You'd be like, oh my God, I'm broke till next payday. And I was like, oh wait, I don't work because I'm an immortal and I can't hold down a job. Oh no. I don't have any social security papers. I can't get a job.
What do you mean clean the toilet? Do you know who I am? I clean the toilets of Queen Nefertiti.
But yeah, so like I mean, there is, I suppose, there's that superpower that you gather up all the knowledge there is to know. You can gather up all these fantastical sort of I don't know, wealth of sort of human sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Artifacts, if you want. If you want to be an Indiana Jones, you can go off and you can gather up all these kind of things.
That's what you focus on.
What?
With the whole thing.
Gathering things.
Like,
I'm a hoarder, don't you know?
But that's it. Like, I mean, I think the theme of it isn't kind of like become a hoarder, although you could say it might be, because there's a lot of scenes of him in his room surrounded
where he
by
has
stuff.
things, yes, he has a lot of things.
And one of the first things that happens after he kills your man in the basement at the start, well, in the fucking car park at the start of it, when they find the other sword, they're like, oh my god, it's worth $1.5 million. But I suppose that's to kind of put emphasis on, like, these things are rare, you know?
Yeah.
Not
But it
that
is, as I
these
said,
people are
you,
hoarders.
that's what I'm saying about your superpowers. The superpowers are, I suppose, in a time before the advent of the internet, where you had all mankind's knowledge at your fingertips in a phone, and you choose to spend it browsing Reddit or looking at videos of cats falling off fucking, I don't know, backs of sofas or whatever.
What did you think of it?
Yes, I enjoyed it.
Get on to fucking hoarding thing. I just asked you what to do.
Yes, I thought it was a very, if you're looking at it objectively, it's a very good story, you know. I loved Sean Connery pretending he wasn't Scottish, and I'm Egyptian.
Apparently, as well, he refused to do the sword fighting training.
So he's just like, I know how to swing a sword.
He was, and apparently kept getting hurt on set. There was one thing I saw about that. There's a making of documentary up online in a couple of parts. But you remember Clancy Brown, like everyone was terrified of Clancy Brown on set because he kind of stayed in character.
Yes, he just looks like a terrifying dude in general, even before you put on all the makeup and all the fucking gear on him.
But there's, their sword fight, the epic sword fight in the castle and stuff. Like, he had pyrotechnics on his sword.
Oh, cool.
But apparently there's a scene where at the start he jumps in the door and he cuts a table in half. Clancy Brown apparently went a bit mental and he jumped and he fucking went to cut a chandelier.
Nice, as you do.
And clipped Sean Connery. So Sean Connery walked off in a sulk.
Well, I wouldn't mind that now, in fairness.
Yeah,
I'd be fairly sulky if someone
apparently
cut me
as well
with a
he couldn't because he didn't do any of the training and stuff. But he got on really well with Christopher Lambert. And Sean Connery, apart from probably a lot of things about him that came out after he's like, I don't know, seemed to be well liked. He was one of those actors that he could just get away with putting on a Scottish accent, even though he's meant to be an Egyptian.
Yeah.
In it. Like Christopher Lambert's accent.
Was
it's not because that was his accent.
place.
He had it in his head that he was going like sound like people from all over the place. That he's and it was just
his
like
accent would bounce all over the place.
it just sounded like he was a really bad actor. But yeah, you liked it. I liked it. I really liked it. I have to say, going
Even
back
the dog
watching it
liked
again, I have a newfound appreciation for it because it's trying to be a little bit more critical watching.
Yes.
Because we've seen it so many times anyway. I didn't want to just look at it again and then go, oh. But it's like the cinematography in it.
That's something I was going to say. I actually
blew me away.
Whoever was taking care of the lighting, I thought was doing a fantastic job. Because if you notice the whole way through, when you go into your one's apartment, it's like she's living in a fucking traffic light or something like that. One side of her window, it's all red, and then the other side of her apartment, the windows are all like ambery green.
There were so many scenes in it that reminded me of Suspiria. Like that Dario Argento style of thing, where like colour was really important in it. Like even there's so much in it, the way that it was like the green of the film. Even like at the start of it starts off with in Madison Square Garden where they're watching a wrestling match.
Yeah, and
it makes it look really gritty and has that kind of dirty New York 80s 70s vibe to it. But then when it goes, he starts having flashbacks of like when he was like human or when he was mortal
back in
Scotland.
The Highlands,
and the grain of the film changes completely and it goes from like feeling like
it goes to kind of like the Sound of Music kind of vibes where it's all this fresh air in the mountains kind
but
of
it feels more cinematic. I can't, but it seems cleaner and more kind of like fantasy kind of based. There's not the lights, and then when it goes back to that, so you have the, and even then when it goes down to the fight, it like nearly, it's like it goes underground into, it's nearly like it's into a different world where there's no one else around. It's just the two of them. It gets a bit darker, and the fight scenes as well, they're not like, these amazing sword fighters. They're like fucking, it's like they're running and hitting each other, running away, hiding, kind
getting
of
a bit
coming up.
sweaty and huffing because of the weight of their swords. I have to say, the sword fight at the very end, I thought that was fucking A1 as regards like the setup and all the rest.
Probably one of the
because
most
it was in
iconic
front
scenes
of
ever.
it was obviously this kind of industrial kind of setting, but they had these fantastical. It was a huge wall of basically like industrial kind of like a wall of glass. So it was all this beautiful.
I have it written down in my notes. A silver cup sign. I don't know what silver cup is. Was it a brand in the?
Yeah, but it
80s
was
or
like
what?
this. It was this beautiful sort of wall of like blue kind of glass behind them with the sort of lights of the city.
When they fall down.
Yeah, and so they're fighting in front of this, so they're like silhouetted in front of this, absolutely gorgeous. So you can't see the actual city behind it because it's like this, it's like a frosted glass, so it's just this beautiful frosted blue kind of lighting behind them with them in front. And of course, the ground is all covered in water, so it's all this reflections in front as well. It's like it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Do you know what I
There's
mean?
a lot of like, I remember when Tarantino's stuff started coming out, becoming aware, people are talking about the what makes a great film. A lot of times is if you can take like a still from it, and it's like a poster, or it could be a photographing or thing. And like they were saying, I think with Pulp Fiction, people were saying that was one of the few films that was like, you could fucking press pause anywhere at any moment in the film. And I think there's quite a lot of moments in Highlander.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, that's definitely and like it's one of these, it doesn't get credit for it at all. Like, well, I went reading up some old reviews of it, and a lot of it was about like, oh, it's a chunky kind of fight, and they're not doing this or that, or like Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery's bad accents. But they don't talk about the cinematography, which is fucking, like, really blew me away looking at it. There was just so many bits. Like, I have loads of notes on the different things. But like you were saying with the colours, there was a scene in it where the Kurgan kidnaps McLeod's new love interest, who's like a forensic... well, she works for the police as a forensic investigator. And she's also has like an interest. She's like a PhD in exotic fucking ancient weaponry,
Metallurgy or something. Yeah.
So she's like trying to find out about the sword. She just wants to know if that sword exists, because she's like, oh, it'd be like showing that like the Egyptians are driving around in fucking like cars because it's so technologically advanced for the thing. But when she gets kidnapped, and there's that scene in the car. And they're driving along, and it's really frantic from outside, and like the Queen's music, which we'll talk about it later on, is like fucking banging away. But then when he starts hitting people, it feels really violent and gory, but you don't see any blood around like that. All it does, it's like, it's a weird kind of blue-red silhouette of the person, just a face coming up towards the windscreen. Really fast, and it's with the sound effects as well that it makes. I don't know, it's just really disturbing. But I've never seen anything like it before. It reminds me of when like Pazuzu was seen in The Exorcist. Those bits where he's seen in the corner, around it happens so quick. But that was just like, fucking hell, this is
pretty fucking I think the ideas and the sort of the I suppose the visuals behind it were like very inventive, I suppose, is the best way of sort of thinking about it. Like, I mean, all the fight scenes in general, like, I mean, there was the fight scene where they were sort of at the kind of the castle thing and all the rest. That was all silhouetted again against the sky as well. And like, again, I suppose going back to the fight scene at the very end where they were silhouetted in front of the kind of the industrial windows and all the rest. At the very end, when it's like, you have the quickening and all the rest, and fucking the lightning starts coming down, and all the windows just shatter, and it goes from this sort of frosted glass thing to suddenly it's the whole backdrop of the city behind them and all the rest. So it's sort of this enclosed space just opens up to show the whole backdrop of the city, and it just sort of it opens the whole thing. It's
nearly like a more violent 2001 thing when he goes like that fucking thing where the lights are coming past him. Nearly like the hyper light fucking speed in or light speed in Star Wars, but it's like it has that impact where it's kind of like his face coming forward, rushing forward, where you do kind of feel like something you feel the quickening when it happens. And that's the thing as well, like for the time like the effects still hold up really, really well.
Yeah.
Like when the beheadings, and you don't see any, it's not gory, but like there's a bit when the Kurgan kills a guy in an alleyway. And you know the bit with the vigilante, so it's nearly like a fucking taxi driver type guy who's an ex-Nam soldier who goes along and he shoots him up with a thing, but there's loads of people watching and there's lightning coming down and it's bouncing off everything, and he's like, he seems to have a whole thing that he does when he's after killing people that he doesn't seem to be able to control, where he holds a sword in front of him and he's like shaking out and the eyes are all in the back of his head. And as well at the end, you know, when like MacLeod does kill him, so when MacLeod killed the other people, the quickenings were kind of like fast, but with the Kurgan it seemed like it was like thousands of people spilling out from him. So you kind of, at that point, I think if you're like looking at it, you kind of go, all right, they must get the souls of the people and the knowledge maybe from the people that they killed. And that's what the gift is. And that's essentially what the gift is, actually. He has all the knowledge in the world, which has probably been accumulated by all these thousands of immortals over thousands of years.
Yeah, exactly. It's very philosophical, really, when you think about it. And it's very sort of a, you know, sort of, it speaks to our sort of existence as humans. Do you have to truly kill someone to know them and to gain their knowledge and blah, blah, blah. You know, you could go down a whole pretentious philosophical rabbit hole with that if you really wanted to. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to go, ha, beheadings, ha.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, you got the two sides with the Kurgan. And I was looking at a thing about the background of the Kurgan. There is a novelisation of the film where they get into it. And it's like, it's a shame that they couldn't capture how evil he really was, and like he's kind of comical evil.
He is, but he is very disturbing though. It's just everything he does is just, there's something very stomach turning about him, I think. You know, it's just even like the makeup, you know, sort of the fucking safety pins holding his neck together where he nearly got beheaded. Well, it's even down to like the gaps in his teeth and the way he holds himself and he carries himself.
It's like with the other immortals. The other immortals are humans, but he doesn't ever feel like, he feels like some supernatural evil force. He's
larger than life. He is. He feels like he's almost like bursting at the seams or something. But, you know, full of souls.
Yeah, but like his backstory is that he was in the place that he was from. His father killed him, beat him to death with a stone, and then when he came back, he killed his father by making him eat hot rocks. And he was like, he used to take pleasure in killing people, and then he had like a mentor like Ramirez, who he ended up beheading when he was asleep. And he was just like, went through kind of like time with people like fucking Genghis Khan, you know, fighting in art. He just enjoyed killing. That's like his whole thing, is he just wants to kill. Whereas the other immortals, they don't take pleasure in being immortal, because it's like a burden on them that they get to watch people that they love die and all that, and they make connections through life, and they're trying not to make connections. Where the whole thing with the Kurgan is he's incapable of making connections with humans. He doesn't. He looks down his nose on humanity. He thinks of, well, he is something completely and utterly different. So that's like, you know, meant to be the balancing act of kind of like the good and the evil, where it's like he's someone that if he gets to live forever, you know, he's just after causing chaos and murder the whole way through. But kind of like, whereas the rest of them, they're not kind of doing that, you know. But yeah, so cinematography amazing. But like sound design, like we're talking, well, just the soundtrack.
I won't go into sound design, because I mean, like the sound design, I suppose the sound effects of the lighting and all the rest, spot on and all the rest. But the soundtrack itself, Jesus Christ, what a banger of a soundtrack. Like, I mean, one of my favourite Queen songs of all time is Hammer to Fall, because it's just so cheery. But I never mind that, the theme song, you know.
But it's one of those things where it's like, at the start, it like the intro is fucking it tells you everything. It has Sean Connery apparently recording it in a toilet, and that's how it had the reverb on it, because they were Russian, and he was like just recorded it remotely in a toilet and kind of handed it in. But that says the whole thing about, we're immortals and there's going to be a gathering.
We are
and then the song, the song just tells the whole
everything.
More of a story than the film does.
It does, it gives you just literally in a synopsis, you know, I'm immortal, I have inside me blood of kings. Yeah.
But there's something about the song that just makes you feel powerful as well.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're an immortal as well and kind of like go running out in front of a truck.
Right! Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I'm not so immortal.
Yeah.
I'm crippled in a hospital
You'll have
bed.
to behead me to kill me. But it's just it's a kind of magic as well.
Brilliant.
And that's like mentioned a few times in like where Christopher Lambert, I think with the girl who he ends up saving in World War II from the Nazis. And even that scene, the flashback, that's a kind of, they keep having flashbacks showing, look, he's a good guy. He's never really on the wrong side of it. It's not like it flashes back and he's like a Nazi. You know?
Yeah.
But like she ends up being his secretary then when they get older, like, and she's like his daughter, you know, where you just get to see that there's that kind of pain there as well. That she's like, she's like old and she's going to die, and he's
still the same age he ever was, and watching her, wither and get old and die.
Yeah.
And he's going to be there long after and has to say goodbye to her again.
But he says to her kind of when she's like, oh, after he gets shot by the Nazis and he's still alive, and he's like, oh, it's a kind of magic.
Yeah.
And it just fits so well with the song, where it's like that kind of.
But it is, and it kind of, it takes you out of the film as well, because it's kind of like everyone looks at each other going, oh, he said the thing, he said the name of the song, ho.
But, and then kind of Who Wants to Live Forever is just... I think it's probably one of my favourite Queen songs because it does capture that. Like Freddie Mercury, fucking hell, with his voice, just managed to capture so much emotion around different things. But with that, it captures the whole essence of being the Highlander movie, where it's like, look, this isn't fun.
Who does want?
It reminds me of Interview with the Vampire. We're Interview with the Vampire with Louis, and even Lestat to a certain. Well, all of the vampires at certain stages where they're just like, look, it's fucking not a.
Yeah, it's not a fucking bunch of laughs here, lads.
Yeah, it's going to drive you fucking insane. And then people that you're friends with, even other vampires, they're going to go insane. They're going to bury themselves in the ground or fucking just walk out into the sunlight because they're just like, I can't take this shit fucking anymore. Whereas that's the same with, and that song kind of captures that. And as well, Connor's love for his probably only wife when she died, and Ramir is kind of saying to him, look, fucking save yourself the pain, go away.
You should walk away, you can't have children, you can't give her what she wants, you can't be a normal husband to her, to grow old with her and have children with her and all the rest. You're just going to have to stand and watch her die.
But that montage of their life after Ramirez gets killed by the Kurgan, and there's a scene where they're like, I can't move, but they're outside, and then it kind of the camera moves up and it's her coming over a wall or over a hill, and then she's old, and that's done really. The makeup isn't great now, but like that shot is done really well as well. It's kind of really smooth blend and just really nice editing on it with it. But like I'd imagine that's something they're going to play more into with the film, because I think Karen Gillan, is that her name? She's playing.
She's one of the Doctor Who's or something, is she?
Yeah, she's been in a ton of films. I think she's a director as well, but she's playing the wife in it. So when they're getting a big star like that in it, I'd imagine she's
going to make a lot of use out of that character. Yeah.
So that's going to. Oh, she was in Guardians of the Galaxy. That's.
Oh yeah.
And all the other fucking Marvel movies. But it's like Queen soundtrack. It's brilliant, and like standalone songs. That it's amazing. Like
that's it, and they fit the film so well. Like, I mean, they were perfectly written for the film, but like, you don't have to know the film at all to actually appreciate it. It's not like one of these things where like, you have to know the film to actually appreciate what they're saying. Like, I'd heard those songs ever before I'd seen the films when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, fucking cool, another Queen song, yay, brilliant, and all the rest. And then when you see it in tandem with the film, you're kind of like, oh my god, this is a kind of magic. Something special there, like.
There is, and like, you kind of forget as well, because I don't know, because Queen, I suppose, is so well known for Bohemian Rhapsody and a few other kind of ones. You forget that Queen were kind of like one of the first metal bands. Like Metallica did covers of like Stone Cold Crazy, But like, I mean, it's always like it's a hard knock life, or not a hard knock. What's it? It's a hard.
It's a hard life.
Yeah.
Hard knock life is
Yeah.
it's something completely different.
Annie, they did
Yeah.
the music for Annie. But yeah, sure, Flash Gordon as well. They did the music
exactly.
for. But you know, there's like some songs in this that they're really fucking heavy. Like the bit where the Kurgan robs the car and he's as your woman kidnapped. That's really
that
fucking,
is real driving music.
Yeah.
But Queen just seem to have this ability to do this the music that just makes you want to jump up on a fucking table with your hands in the air and just be like, yeah, fucking woo, kind of a thing. I don't know what it is. It's like, it's even beyond anthemic. Like, I mean, there's anthemic music and then there's Queen, like, which is just beyond it. And I don't know what it is, but like, anytime you hear it, it's like everyone wants to like pull a Freddy kind of a thing. It's like, fucking stand up with your fucking satin white pants on.
It's just like the perfect
Scream your head
collection of amazing musicians.
Yeah.
Because like, there's only one guitar player in it, and like you think that like for just a guitar player and a bass player and a drummer, what they fucking do when you're listening to that, like there's like that heavy bit that kind of bleeds into Freddie Mercury singing about New York, and it's just really heavy, but it's just the way the howling from the guitar.
Yeah.
It's like fucking primal, you know.
Yeah.
I'm into like heavy. Well, the two of us are into metal, and it just reminds me of stuff like fucking that, like Imperial Triumphant.
Yeah.
Do you know? But you'd never associate Queen with it because they've so many fucking big hits that they're the ones that always kind of stick in your mind.
Yeah. I know, but it's like the beautiful soaring harmonies as well, like, you know, the layering of the vocals and all the rest. It's just, no one is ever going to compare it to Queen. I don't think anyone is ever going to hit the same fucking heights that Queen ever did.
And like, one of the things as well about the movie that I don't think gives it enough, or it gets enough credit for, is some of the actual acting and the chemistry in it. Like, people take the piss out of Christopher Lambert saying that he can't really act in it because of the accent and stuff, but fucking Conor McLeod is like so likable, like, and he makes quips, and he's, you know, you get to know the character nearly straight away when they go back to,
you know, he's a good guy as well, don't you?
And like, after he comes back from the dead and he like gets the shit beaten out of him by the village, and the woman that was going to marry him is like, burn him, and he's just, there's just something about, he's very, very likable, and his chemistry with Sean Connery is like, I mean, I couldn't picture anyone else playing Ramirez other than Sean Connery.
Yeah,
he's perfect. If it was someone that went in playing it straight, I think, and not Hamill, and as well, like Sean Connery, there's bits when he's on horseback, and like, this is something I think that like a lot of the old school actors, they had this thing where like, it was, you know, they'd have all these things that they had to tick off, like fucking Errol Flynn, where it was like, oh, you have to be able to ride horses, you have to sword fight, you have to be, you know, trained up in all these things because you're going to do it in the films yourself. And like, nowadays you wouldn't see it'd be,
no, not at all.
like, especially the way he was like running along, and then there's some of the scenes where they were like fighting on top of fucking cliffs for the montages, and like that whole, and it's probably only about 10 minutes out of the whole movie where it's their relationship, but it's so impactful, and it seems so nice
genuine.
And warm. Well, apparently, they'd got on really well, that they did form a bond, that they were like good, they ended up being good friends with afterwards as well. But yeah, I think Sean Connery just added an awful lot to it, and it is really, because he fucking had such an impact on it, you think he's into a lot more than he actually is. It's only when you're going to look at it. But I think the real star of the show, which we were talking about, was Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
The movie is nothing without Kurgan. And like, I mean, the first and the second act, he's only kind of like briefly in it. He kind of shows up to kill Connor at the start, and he's in his big fucking kind of Black Knight kind of skeletal armour stuff. And he looks like something out of a fucking nightmare or out of mythology.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a bit where like, it feels real, kind of like as if it's like, oh, they're being historically accurate, and then it's like in the middle of like these tribes fighting this fucking huge fucker with a sword bigger than everyone. Is just like in the middle of it. Then he pops up for a sword fight again in the second, but the third act is about
it's his.
him. Is his. And
turns
like the whole
up in his
scene,
fucking scary leather fucking outfit.
and the church scene, and it's like he just hams it up so like where he is terrifying, but he's still a little bit like Skeletor, where like when he goes into the church and he's just sitting there going laughing away to himself.
Yeah, and he's like, nuns are so stupid.
Yeah, and he's like, forgive me, Father, for I am but a worm. And then when he licks his hand, this is the thing
gross,
where it's like you have that Saturday morning cartoon villain vibe, but then that where it's like,
ew.
Yeah. And like when he's talking about like rape and you know, and you kind of go,
yeah, maybe not Saturday morning. Yeah.
But he seems to manage to carry that where it's like, and he looks really young when he gets his hair, when he cuts his hair off.
Yeah,
you look at him and you kind of go, fucking hell, how old was he when he was doing this?
Because, he was probably only about 28 or something.
But he's got like a baby face, you know, where I think that nearly works as well to the creepiness of the character, where it's like he was probably killed when he was quite young, and he's probably stuck in that. Yeah.
Almost overgrown teenager kind of a thing.
Yeah, where he's just taking like immense pleasure in like murdering people and so and he's just like, he knows that he can't, and so whereas like the rest of them are being so careful to hide.
Yeah.
And he's just
kicking church doors down and like, I'm here, I'm going to kill everyone.
And flaunting money, you know, around, and just like it's that whole blackjack and hookers thing. But yeah.
So do you want to score it out of any?
No, I don't think we need to score it, because I think it's quite obvious
that you quite like it.
It's an amazing film.
Yes, exactly.
Like I mean, there's plenty of like iconic scenes in it.
All the quickenings are always very kind of interesting.
Well, like the first battle scene when Connor gets killed is definitely iconic. The whole fight with Ramirez and the Kurgan is like, I think they might have used that even for some the stills for promotion of where it's like Sean Connery and him at the top of the stairs when the wall is after collapsing on the castle. Yeah, like that's a beautiful shot. Like and then of course the end scenes like you were talking about as well.
Yeah, they're smashing like.
But there's just so many iconic scenes from it, and as well like the cover art for the poster for the film. Apparently the director blamed the poster that was used over in the USA for its poor initial performance over there, and it looks like a hardcore fucking album cover. It's like a black and white picture of like Conor McLeod, but it looks like, I don't know, it doesn't capture the vibe of the film, whereas over here we have what's probably the normal cover for it now, where it's like the nearly Drusen type thing, which I love that cover. I think it's a really, really nice poster and stuff, and I'd imagine it would be using for the thumbnail or for like the podcast kind of.
I love your critique of it. It is nice.
It is,
it's
but
like the Andy Bernard school of critique. It is good. I like it.
You can see that there's like fantasy elements in it. It kind of sums up the film perfectly. Where you look at it and you kind of instantly kind of go, right, there's a sword there. There's a guy with some magic shit going on. And there's like some evil skull headed fucker there as well, and you
gives
kind
you a bit of a flavour of the whole film.
You don't look at it and kind of go, oh, this is part 2 to Mean Streets.
It's a crime thriller or something.
And like it's after aging incredibly well as well. I think we're after saying
like a fine wine.
But like even the end scene when they're fighting on top of the building, it reminded me nearly of a Universal movie studio ride. Because like you have all these things going on, like in Temple of Doom, and it's all these things had to happen. Well, it wasn't like they were stopping and kind of going, all right, make that fall now. It was like they were fighting, and there was like bits of fucking scenery collapsing. There was a water tower collapse, and there was all these things going on. There was like pyrotechnics going off at the same time, and
all this choreography and all the rest of all these stunts,
where you don't really see it too much. You don't see it in movies anymore. And this is like we've been going back looking at some older action movies over the last while, and we keep saying it like with the stunts, and it's like fucking hell, like and like in this, even though like we're saying the fight scenes in it, they're not. It's not like the Matrix or anything like that. It's probably more realistic, where it is that thing where it's like.
Two lads trying to swing a sword around and fucking trying to duck.
Yeah, and as well that they're
not doing fancy Matrix shit.
Even though they're immortal, they're like, well, this could be the end. I've been around for hundreds of years, and fucking if this guy cuts my head, I'm fucked.
I'm done for.
Well, I think I think maybe a younger audience looking at it as well. I think they should have some appreciation for it, especially compared to some of the garbage being made now. with it. But
I wonder will it get any younger audience now with the remake coming up? Will they be bothered going back watching it?
I'd say so. I'd say the TV series as well, because I think that people seem to be more fond of the TV series than the film series.
The old ponytail, yeah.
Like I friends that they were just obsessed with the TV, and like in fairness to the TV show, it was fairly good, because you had that thing where they gave you the good bits out of the movie, where it was like constant flashbacks, where it was like, oh, he'll meet a different immortal every week, and then he'll have a flashbacks to kind of like, oh, I met this guy in like,
back in 1500s,
Eastern, like, Thailand, kind of, and we were like,
look, I've got a nice fancy outfit on me, and this is what was happening. I was with a different girl at that stage as well, so you got like Woman of the Week and all the rest.
No, I thought he had the same girlfriend the whole way through.
I can't remember.
And then she became an immortal, or she was an immortal, and he didn't read, or maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I very much blacked that out.
I didn't really follow it. I like looked at it there was a guy who used to hang around with that was like fucking obsessed with it, and he grew his hair long, you know who, grew his hair long because of, and he went in like and said in the barber's because he wanted to have the ponytail. And apparently your man, I remember he was going on, he found out that your man Adrian Paul, I think was the guy that played him.
Good memory. Jesus,
he couldn't grow his hair long for the first season because
it was just a little clip on.
So it was a clip on, and he was like, this guy. He was like, he had a fucking clip on.
The disgust.
But yeah, I think say what we normally talk about as well on things when we're doing verses is about the rewatchability, and I think I could easily watch this again and again, especially after zone and like trying to be a little bit more not critical of it, but kind of like pay more attention when I was watching it, because I've got like this, I want to try and learn how to analyze movies, or kind of like just be more kind of, I suppose, aware of the work that would have went into it, or what they're trying to do, what they're trying to say,
the soundscape, the mise en scene,
and it's like
cinematography.
But the cinematography in it like fucking really blew me away. And like you never hear anyone talking about.
No, as I said, I genuinely thought the lighting and all the rest was actually done super well.
It was, and there's so many silhouettes, which I think it's weird as well. The guy who was the sword coordinator on it is the same guy that did the Star Wars stuff.
Oh, right.
And you kind of go, oh yeah, you can see. And then like there's, you know, that the scene between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, I think it's in The Empire Strikes Back, when it's like that silhouette, and it's like just when the lightsabers come up. That's what the end scene reminded me of as well, like when you were saying about the silhouettes. And there is very much that kind of, I suppose, the heroes, fucking the Campbell heroes quest thing, or the hero story thing that like Highlander has as well, in common with like Star Wars. Yeah. But people, I don't know, I think it's just extremely underrated, even for a film that's really big and it's appreciated
and spawned so many spin-offs.
But I think people miss out on a lot of like other things that are going on with it, and other things that make it a great movie. But I suppose sometimes these things, when they go on, it's what make it a great movie.
Yeah, it's the sum of its parts, really, I suppose. And oftentimes, like, I mean, that's the thing, if something is great, a lot of times you don't stop to notice, kind of go, oh yes, I think that bit of dialogue there really added something to it. You should just be able to enjoy it as a whole without stopping to go, oh, that small pool of lighting in the corner really added to the ambience.
But see, I think we were spoiled in the 80s from the 70s and stuff, because people, when they started making film, they were fucking filmmakers.
Well, I think everyone was very well versed in the language of film and the language of television. I think anyone that was interested in doing it, they knew about it, because this will sound terrible, but there was an actual bar to getting into filmmaking and all the rest, so you had to be very interested to actually do it. Whereas I think nowadays anyone can pick up an iPhone and they're just like, point and shoot.
I think as well the Hollywood system, especially the Marvel system, it's more about storytelling than actually creating like a
piece of art.
Yeah. With it. Well, and you know, there is like, I can't think of any, like, say, you know, that people say an iconic scene out like in Avengers movies, like, oh, when they all started hitting each other. You know, there's no kind of bit where you kind of go, oh, fucking the lighting in that shot. You know, it's and then because everything else is copying the Marvel thing, because that's seen as like, this is a formula for success. It's that, whereas in the, like, people were looking at like I suppose all the independent filmmakers in the 70s, like Coppola,
they were going back to the 50s and looking at noir and looking at how like shadows, dark and light, when you only had black and white film, and how
all
did you
that
create
stuff
mood?
was going back to fucking like impressionism and fucking German fucking
Yeah, but what's German impression?
Yeah, you know, so it's like, whereas, can't say that. I'm not shitting on modern movies because,
Yeah.
but it's just, I think we were spoiled.
Yes. It was. There was very much a golden age of filmmaking
Yeah.
at the height
In
of
the
the
80s.
80s, yeah. So the 70s and the 80s and such like.
So yeah, look, that's our take on Highlander. Don't expect us to go looking at Highlander fucking 2 though. Because anyone who might have listened to this and hasn't like looked at the movie for some unknown reason, like, I suppose it's an oddity. It's like Waterworld, but Waterworld was actually better, whereas like these movies that were made that should have been big and just went like bizarre and like were massive fucking misfires. So it's like one of those oddities where, and like they keep making different director's cuts of it to try and fix it. And I think I've seen 1 or 2 of them, and it's still kind of awful because it's like the thing that's wrong with the movie, it's just from the core of the plot where they go away with the whole alien thing that they're from a different planet, and then there's more and more. Well, there are like different aliens show. I can't even fucking remember. It was just so mental. It was just a mess of a movie. But part 3 is quite good.
Meh.
Or not Wesley Snipes, fucking Mario Van Peebles. I have New Jack City on the brain
Fucking hell.
lately. I don't know. Yeah, we have to look at New Jack City because I keep thinking about it, and it keeps
alright.
popping up in different things that I'm looking at. People start talking about it, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yes. Maybe something is pushing it to watch it.
Yeah, but look, it's a Highlander. If
Yes.
you've listened this far, thank you very much for
Yeah.
listening. Yeah. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of Highlander in whatever comments, or kind of give us a review or something. That'll be great too.
Yes.
So look, we will be back next week and we will talk about more movies. So until then, goodbye.